Hey, I'm Stephanie, and it's time to stumble into style. Welcome to Signature Style Sunday, my weekly web series in which I document my attempt to find my very own sense of style using mainly what I already own. Today, I am going to check in about this past week's challenge that I set for myself and what I learned from it. And in case you missed last week's video where I talk about it, I'll make sure to link that in the description below so that you can catch up. Last week, I had received a bag of secondhand clothing and I did a try-on. I was having a lot of fun with it because for the first time in my life, I was making really fast gut decisions about not wanting to keep things. I was just like, nope, not for me. Nope, not my style. And that's not the type of person I am. I normally ponder decisions for far too long. So I was like really happy that I was just like, oh, I'm starting to get to know myself. I'm starting to get to know my style. Hey, this style journey is starting to work. And then I realized that my old habits came back like halfway through the try-on, because then there were several items where I was like, no, I think that could work. No, maybe I should keep that. Yeah, no, maybe that'll work too. And then by the end of it, I had this pile of clothes that I was like kind of sure about. And so I set myself a mission for this week. And that was that every single day I had to wear at least one of those items as if it were already my own, as if it were already a permanent resident of my closet, to see how I really felt about it. So that's what I did. Every day, I integrated at least one of those items into my outfit for that day. And the funny thing was, in every single instance, by the time I had finished getting dressed for the day, I knew whether I wanted to keep those things or not. It was a gut decision again. So what was the difference? Why was I able to all of a sudden make those lightning fast decisions again when I couldn't do that during the try-on? I think the night of the try-on, I was suffering from what I call the decision heebie-jeebies. The official name for that is decision fatigue, and I know that it's like a real recognized psychological phenomenon. But what surprised me was that it came on so fast. I mean, I must have been like 6 decisions into the try-on when all of a sudden all of the items started ending up in the maybe pile. So I thought I'd look up some information on this decision fatigue, and I wrote down what I found on this piece of paper. According to Sarah Berg, a writer for the American Medical Association, the definition of decision fatigue is, and I quote, a state of mental overload that can impede a person's ability to continue making decisions. And there are 4 main symptoms. These are procrastination, impulsivity, avoidance, and indecision. Well, I had a little bit of all of that. I impulsively avoided making a final decision by procrastinating and putting the decision off until some point at this past week. So why did just 6 decisions during my try-on lead to decision fatigue? And the answer is, it probably wasn't those 6 decisions. See, the choices we make, they add up during the day. It's cumulative. So it doesn't matter what choices you're making, whether they're in regard to food or friends or work or what shoes you should wear based on the weather outside. It doesn't matter what category your decision is in, your brain is still using the same pathways to make all of them. And apparently, based on average statistics, by the time I started that try-on in the evening, my brain had already made over 30,000 decisions, large and small, throughout the day. So it's no wonder it was a little tired. So what does this teach me within the context of my style journey? Well, if I'm going to be making any important style decisions, I should probably be trying to make them earlier in the day, or at least when I'm feeling awake and rested. Case in point, packing. If you've been watching this channel for the last couple of weeks, you'll know that I've been living out of a very limited suitcase. Not limited because of the size, it's limited because of the selection of things that I packed. The reality is I was very busy before I left. I didn't have time to pack until the very last minute. It was very late at night. I was exhausted. And I think one of the main thoughts going through my head at that time was, I really just want to go to bed. And that's reflected in the clothing that I packed. I essentially packed like 5 sets of pajamas. So not the best decisions. Perhaps if I had packed in the morning, I would have had more energy to make some more vibrant style choices. But I think it's also important, like if I'm considering adding any items to my wardrobe or to my vanity, or if I need to make any purchases, I think it would always be wise, especially if it's a larger purchase, that, if I'm in a store or something and I see something that I think will work to fit a hole in my wardrobe, I should always check in with myself before purchasing it, not just to see, do I really like this and do I really need that? That's the first and foremost. But I think I also need to start checking in with myself about how I'm feeling. Do I feel tired right now? Do I feel rested? And if I don't, then, if possible, maybe I should try to sleep on that item. And it also means that I should probably stop second guessing myself. I tend to spend a lot of time thinking about my decisions after the fact and wondering if they were really the best choices. And that's even for decisions that have no major impact on my life or anyone else's. So basically, I'm making decisions about choices that I've already made. And it's a waste of time and a waste of energy. And there's many other things that I'd rather put my mental energy into. So I would like to practice making decisions and then moving on. So now, after taking a closer look at the decision heebie-jeebies, it's logical why I was struggling with my decision making during that evening hand-me-down try-on session. I had simply made too many decisions that day and my noggin was tuckered out. And it also now makes sense as to why I was able to make such efficient decisions in the mornings when I was trying on those clothes in the following days. It's simply because I was awake. My brain was refreshed. And I think, of course, it also probably helped that I was only trying one or two of those items on simultaneously, so I didn't have as many decisions coming at me at once. Ultimately, I decided to donate every single one of the clothing items, and I only kept 3 of the accessories. And not only were the decisions easy to make, but I feel like they were also really well founded, and that makes it easy for me not to second guess myself. So I kept the knit and faux fur scarf, and the reasoning behind that was easy. I wear scarves all the time. It's mainly black, which is a staple color in my wardrobe. It's got an animal print, which is also a staple print in my wardrobe, and it's soft, which meets my fabric preferences. I kept the woven shawl because it checked even more boxes. It's the type of item that I wear really often. It's handmade by an artist, which I love. The colors and the textures are beautiful, but it's not something I typically have in my wardrobe, and so it's like a nice extension, a direction I'd like to experiment with. The fabric is soft, which is super important, and it's got sentimental value because it belonged to my grandmother, and then to my mother, and now to me. And the last item was the wooden beaded belt. You didn't see that in the try-on. The reason for that was because I had already put it in my suitcase and then forgot about it when I was doing the try-on for the camera, but what happened was my mom, gave me the items to try on, and the beaded belt was on top. And the second I saw it, I was like, oh, I want to try wearing it with this dress and with that shirt and with this and with that. And like, if I was already picturing items in my closet that I wanted to pair it with, I'm assuming that means that's a good indication that it's probably going to fit well into my wardrobe. So I basically immediately threw that into my suitcase. And everything else is being donated to the local community clothing drive next weekend. In and of itself, all of this talk about decisions might seem a little bit over dramatic, but you've never lived in my head. Learning to really analyze exactly what my motivations are is relatively new to me, and the process of making these style videos every week is really forcing me to put thought and intention into my clothing decisions, and it's resulting in very gradual but very positive behavioral changes. At least I feel like they're positive. I'm growing in the direction I want to grow in. And so this week I'd like to take some time and really dedicate it to introspection to try to figure out a little bit more about the motivations behind the decisions I make, especially the ones that I make when I'm not fatigued. I hope you'll join me next week to discuss any discoveries. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. If you like content like this, then be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Other than that, I hope you have a wonderful week and that we can all remember that even stumbling is a form of moving forward. So let's stumble in style.